Hey folks, before we dive in, I just want to remind you to follow SkyAlert USA so you can catch this and all our future videos. If you find our updates helpful, please support us by subscribing, liking and dropping a comment below. It really helps us keep bringing you the latest weather news, so thanks a bunch. Good evening and welcome to SkyAlert USA, your trusted source for critical weather updates across North America. I'm bringing you the latest weather developments for Monday, January 12th, 2026, and this is a forecast you'll want to pay close attention to. We're tracking a significant winter weather pattern that's affecting millions of Americans and Canadians, with Arctic air, heavy snow and dangerous ice conditions dominating the forecast across multiple regions. Current weather situation, January 12th, 2026. As we begin this second full week of January, North America is experiencing a classic midwinter pattern that's bringing severe weather conditions from coast to coast. The big story today centers around two major weather systems: a potent Arctic blast that's maintaining its grip across the northern tier of the United States and Canada, and a developing storm system that's bringing a dangerous mix of winter precipitation across the northeast. Starting with the northeast, winter weather advisories and warnings remain in effect across 8 states this morning, including Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. The National Weather Service reports that a complex system is bringing a treacherous mix of snow, sleet and freezing rain across the region, creating hazardous travel conditions for the Monday morning commute. Northern Maine is experiencing the most significant impacts, with snowfall totals already reaching 6 to 12 inches in some areas. The storm is producing a wintry mix along the coast, where temperatures are hovering right around the freezing mark, creating that dangerous combination of snow transitioning to ice. In the Hudson Valley and across upstate New York, forecasters are warning of ice accumulations that could approach 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch, enough to make roads treacherous and create the potential for scattered power outages. The storm system is also bringing significant snowfall to the higher elevations of the Adirondacks, Green Mountains and White Mountains, where an additional 2 to 4 inches is expected through Tuesday night. Some peak locations in the Adirondacks could see locally higher amounts approaching 4 inches. The Winter Storm Severity Index indicates minor to moderate impacts across northern Maine, highlighting the likelihood of hazardous travel conditions that will persist through Monday afternoon. The polar vortex connection. So, what's driving this intense winter weather pattern? Well, the answer lies thousands of feet above our heads in the stratosphere. Meteorologists have detected a new stratospheric warming event that's disrupting the polar vortex. That massive area of low pressure and cold air that normally remains locked over the Arctic region during winter months. This stratospheric warming event is causing the polar vortex to become elongated and displaced, pushing Arctic air masses southward into Canada and the United States. When the polar vortex becomes disrupted like this, it acts like opening the freezer door, allowing frigid Arctic air to spill southward in repeated surges. The current forecast models show a strong high-pressure anomaly over the northeastern Pacific and Alaska, which is helping to displace the polar vortex core directly over North America. The three-dimensional structure of this displaced polar vortex shows its counterclockwise spin driving a colder northerly flow into southern Canada and the United States. This pattern is remarkably similar to what we experienced during the first few days of January, when temperatures plummeted 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit below normal across the upper Midwest, Great Lakes and Northeast regions. Temperature extremes across the continent, folks. The temperature gradient across North America right now is truly remarkable. While some areas are experiencing temperatures well below seasonal averages, others are dealing with unusual warmth. Canada is reporting temperatures that are significantly cooler than historical averages by approximately 2 degrees Celsius, with the national average temperature hovering around -1.3 degrees Celsius. In major Canadian cities, the cold is particularly notable. Toronto is experiencing daytime highs around -1 degree Celsius, with overnight lows dropping to -5 degrees Celsius. Montreal is even colder, with highs of -4 degrees Celsius and lows plunging to -12 degrees Celsius. Calgary is seeing daytime temperatures of -4 degrees Celsius, with bone-chilling overnight lows of -11 degrees Celsius. Vancouver, protected by its coastal location, remains the warmest major city with highs around 5 degrees Celsius. Edmonton is experiencing some of the coldest conditions among major Canadian cities, with daytime highs of -7 degrees Celsius and overnight temperatures dropping to a frigid -14 degrees Celsius. Quebec City is similarly cold, with highs of -6 degrees Celsius and lows of -14 degrees Celsius. The coldest location in our forecast area is Banff, where daytime highs are struggling to reach -3 degrees Celsius, while overnight lows are plummeting to a dangerous -21 degrees Celsius. These are the kinds of temperatures where, honestly, exposed skin can develop frostbite in just minutes, and wind chill values can push effective temperatures down to -30 degrees Celsius or lower. Lake effect snow continues to hammer the Great Lakes region. The Great Lakes region continues to be impacted by significant lake effect snow events. As Arctic air masses move across the relatively warmer waters of Lakes Erie and Ontario, they pick up moisture and dump heavy snow on downwind communities. Winter storm warnings have been issued for areas south and east of Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, with particular focus on western New York, including the Syracuse area and regions south of Buffalo. Oswego and Watertown in upstate New York could see additional snow accumulations between 12 and 24 inches through the week. The persistent northwest winds are maintaining this lake effect snow machine, with some locations potentially receiving 15 to 30 inches of total accumulation by the time the pattern breaks down later this week. These are crippling snow totals that will make travel nearly impossible and could lead to roof damage concerns for some structures. While the eastern half of the continent deals with Arctic cold and snow, the west coast is contending with its own set of challenges from powerful Pacific storm systems. Northern California, Oregon and Washington are experiencing periods of heavy rain and mountain snow as atmospheric river events continue to impact the region. The Oregon coast is currently under a high threat warning for sneaker waves through January 12th. These sudden, powerful waves can surge much higher up the beach than normal waves, creating extreme danger for anyone near the surf zone. If you're planning to visit the beach in Oregon or Northern California, exercise extreme caution. Stay observant of incoming waves, avoid logs and large rocks, and keep children and pets well away from the surf zone. In Northern California, heavy rainfall continues to raise flooding concerns, particularly in areas that received significant precipitation during the storms earlier this month. General rainfall totals of 2 to 4 inches are forecast along much of the California coast north of Los Angeles, with locally higher amounts possible. Along the lower west-facing slopes of the northern Sierra Nevada, rainfall totals could reach 4 to 8 inches, with an AccuWeather local storm max of 12 inches possible in the most favorable locations. The Central Valley of California, including Sacramento, is receiving a soaking rain with 2 to 4 inches forecast. This heavy rainfall is creating the potential for urban and low-lying area flooding, as well as flash flooding of small streams and rivers flowing out of the mountains. Any thunderstorms that develop could be locally severe, potentially producing powerful wind gusts, small hail, and perhaps even a brief tornado. As freezing levels drop in the mountains, snow is accumulating rapidly at higher elevations. Several feet of snow are forecast over Donner Pass along Interstate 80 in California, where snow levels may dip to 4,500 feet. This creates a long stretch of wintry conditions in the higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada, with snowfall rates potentially overwhelming road crews' ability to keep up. Donner Pass is likely to experience closures during the heaviest snow periods. Looking ahead to the next 3 days, the winter weather pattern shows no signs of letting up across much of the northern United States and Canada. Tuesday, January 13th. The current storm system affecting the northeast will begin to wind down, but lake-effect snow will continue downwind of Lakes Erie and Ontario. Additional accumulations of 2 to 4 inches are possible in the most persistent snow bands across western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania. Across the Great Lakes region, temperatures will remain well below normal, with daytime highs struggling to reach the single digits in many locations, and wind chill values creating dangerous conditions. In Canada, Arctic air will maintain its grip, with temperatures continuing to run 2 to 3 degrees Celsius below historical averages. The coldest conditions will be focused across the prairie provinces, where Alberta clippers, those fast-moving storm systems, may bring additional light snow and blowing snow conditions, creating whiteouts. Wednesday, January 14th. A brief period of quieter weather is expected across much of the eastern United States as high pressure builds in behind the departing storm system. However, this won't last long, as forecast models indicate a new cyclone developing that could bring a wintry mix with possible accumulating snow to portions of the mid-Atlantic and southern New England by Thursday into Friday. The Pacific Northwest will continue to see periods of moderate to locally heavy rainfall over coastal Washington. Snow levels will drop in the Washington and Oregon Cascades, though precipitation should be lighter than earlier in the week, allowing road crews to manage slushy and slippery conditions, including over Snoqualmie Pass along Interstate 90. Temperature trends show a warming pattern beginning to develop across the central United States, though northern areas will remain below normal. This temperature gradient will be important to watch as it sets the stage for potential storm development later in the week. Thursday, January 15th. Above-average temperatures are forecast across much of the United States, including northern New England, creating a stark contrast with the bitter cold we've experienced recently. However, this doesn't mean winter is over. Far from it. The chance for precipitation during this period is actually forecast to be below average, giving areas that have been hammered by repeated storm systems a brief respite. In Canada, the extended range forecast continues to show cold air support over western Canada and the northern United States. The polar vortex disruption is expected to maintain a favorable pattern for cold air transport into North America through at least mid-month. This suggests that while we may get brief breaks, the overall winter pattern will remain active. For areas currently under winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, or ice storm warnings, please take these alerts seriously. These warnings are issued when dangerous winter weather is either occurring or imminent, and they mean significant impacts to travel and daily life are expected. If you must travel in affected areas, prepare your vehicle with an emergency kit including blankets, food, water, a flashlight, a first aid kit, and a fully charged cell phone. Keep your gas tank at least half full, as you may encounter unexpected delays or need to run your vehicle for heat if you become stranded. Check road conditions before departing and consider delaying non-essential travel until conditions improve. For areas experiencing ice accumulation, even light amounts of ice can make roads treacherous and cause tree limbs and power lines to fall. Stay away from downed power lines and report them to your utility company immediately. If you lose power, never use generators, grills, or other fuel-burning devices indoors as they produce deadly carbon monoxide. In extreme cold, limit your time outdoors and dress in layers. Cover all exposed skin to prevent frostbite, which can occur in as little as 10 minutes when wind chill values drop below -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Watch for signs of hypothermia, including shivering, exhaustion, confusion, and slurred speech. The winter weather pattern affecting North America shows the power and persistence of a displaced polar vortex working in combination with active storm tracks. From heavy snow and dangerous ice in the northeast to lake-effect snow in the Great Lakes to flooding rains in California, virtually every region is dealing with significant weather impacts. Stay informed by monitoring SkyAlert USA for the latest updates, and make sure you have multiple ways to receive weather warnings, including weather radio, smartphone, apps, and local news. This is a high-impact winter weather period that requires awareness, preparation, and caution. Thank you for watching SkyAlert USA. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay weather-aware. We'll continue monitoring these developing systems and bring you updates as conditions change. Remember, when weather matters most, SkyAlert USA has you